It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July.
Everybody hear me in the back? All right. My name is Katie Hall. I am running for the South Carolina House of Representatives, District 39. I am your conservative. I am the granddaughter to the Army, and the granddaughter to the Navy. I am the daughter to an Army drill sergeant. I am the wife to a Special Forces Army retired. I am also an Army mom to an Army pilot that is currently serving. I am one of those, you ask me a question, I am an open book for the most part, unless it truly is classified by our federal government. Other than that, I'll answer you. You'll get an honest answer. My phone is on 24/7. You call it, I don't care what time of day it is, I will answer it. I have already started answering phone calls and messages at 2 o'clock in the morning because I have people who are working second shift. They sleep during the day, and third shift. I'm not going to play games. I cannot and will not be bought under any circumstances. I don't take money from big to-do companies either. I am for small business. That's who I look to. That's where I shop. That's where I go. If you're ready for somebody to truly have your back and to not let anything that's going to hurt you come in, I am your person. I don't believe in taking federal money. That's how they pay their way into this state. I'm just who I am. I was good at civics and I was good at government in school. I see what's happening to our nation. I see what's happening to our state. And I see what's happening to our county. And I am Spitfire mad. I am also a true Second Amendment person. One of the main reasons why I am running is because I decided to call someone out. I got told that that wasn't true. I showed proof. I was told I was a liar. Then I was told I didn't understand how things worked in Columbia. Was born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina. Lived in Lexington for a little bit. Graduated from Dreher High School. We have 2 boys. I was a Scout Master and a Cub Scout Master. Both of my boys are Eagle Scouts. One son had a full ride to school. He is a certified farrier and blacksmith. Our other son, like I said, is active duty Army, and he blessed us this past September with our first grandchild. I have been to the border. I have seen what's been going on. I have also found and talked to the people that I needed to speak to about the Taliban that our federal government brought in and bused to Virginia and to California. How long will it take them to get here? Right now, Fort Bliss is dealing with 12 rapes per shift. MP shift. That's 12 hours. That's one shift is 12 hours. That's 24 in a day. Every day. CID is doing nothing. So if you think they're going to come here and help us out, that's not going to happen. Any question you have for me, I am ready and waiting. There is one thing I forgot. I won't take Chinese money. Overseas industry owned by Hong Kong. You won't ever see that on any of my ethics paperwork. But my opponent does take money from OSI. You won't see it. I'll show you whatever you want to see. I have it in the paperwork. I have the voting records in the paperwork. When I say open carry, I mean open carry. When I say constitutional carry, I mean constitutional carry. it doesn't just mean this shall not be infringed. It also means from a tyrannical government. Welcome to my house. When you see me, if I'm out, if I'm eating, please come and sit with me and eat. You are more than welcome anytime. I am from Saluda. I live here. This is my home. I'm not going anywhere. This to me is this to me is heaven. Come to my house if you want to. Bring the kids, let's put them in the pool. But other than that, what you see is what you get. I've been called a Yahoo. I had to look that up because I am not from anywhere but South Carolina. The definition of Yahoo is someone who is rude. My parents raised me better than that. Someone who is violent. I've never been violent a day in my life. And someone who is noisy. Well, yeah, I am that. And isn't that what you would want on the house floor, to make sure that everything that you have, that you need, is right there, and somebody's going to get noisy and stop the junk. My name is Katie Hall. I look forward to speaking with you. I hope I have your support. And any questions you have, you let me know.
Okay.
I will go ahead and take questions.
We'll go ahead and give her 10 minutes now if anybody has any questions for her.
Sorry, excuse me, you say Amy Cofer is they're owners of apartment, some Chinese connection?
Yes, sir. It's OSI, Overseas Industries.
Okay, well, like Smithfield, the largest, I don't know if you're familiar with Smithfield.
Yes, sir.
All right, what would you do with OSI and Smithfield? Would you ban them from owning these companies, or what would you do to get rid of them? Now, this might be over your head, because we in Saluda County, this is not a federal issue.
Right. This is, yes, sir. We are a state, and in all honesty, I would have to look up to see what I can and what I could and could not do regarding the different laws. But if I've got a notebook, if you will write down your name and write down your telephone number, I will make sure that I look that up and I will get you that information. But I don't want them here. My family is in farming. They're not in South Carolina, but they are in farming, and they too were bought out by China. Yes.
OSI is the overseas industry and not taking money from overseas entity, okay? Is that a state law or federal law?
Both. It is a federal law. You can even, there cannot be any connections at all.
Them or none of their entities?
No, sir. As a matter of fact, I have that also in paperwork if anybody would like to see it. Is everybody happy regarding the SCAT card that just came out?
What?
It's a SCAT card. In order to be tax exempt, you now have to pay a fee of $24 every 3 years in order to continuously stay tax exempt. It just started.
No, it starts in April, like in April.
Yep, I think it's the first. I've got the dates. It's in the first. I have looked it up. Senator Peeler started it. And then there's a couple of other names involved in that, but it must be in a really great big long bill, because I've looked and read bills for the last week and a half ever since I got that question. And we either have it so embedded that you can't find it, or we have an even bigger problem where it was illegally a fee was put in place. And on the website and on the paper, because we all know this is Saluda County, we do not have high-speed internet. I tried. At that time, county council wouldn't let me speak. So, their idea is go to the library. And that's exactly what it says online. I don't know about y'all, but farmers work from before sun up to well after sundown. Yes, sir.
I found out 2 places yesterday. I went and bought stuff,
Yes,
and
sir.
they said about that law.
They were talking about the scat card. Yes, sir.
So in other words, the state government wants you to pay a tax or a fee to not be taxed.
Correct. Just like you've got open carry, you have the Second Amendment that is supported, but hold up, you're gonna have to ask permission for it. From our local and state and federal government. I don't know about y'all, but when I left elementary school, I quit asking permission to go down the hall. Is there anything else?
You for mandated shots?
No, sir, I am not. And what happened this last go around was a farce. Was complete farce. There was already a bill that was already done up by the Senate. And the House went into special session, they went into committee, and my opponent, Mr. Forrest, voted to not worry about that and worry about all of our voting lines, and then voted the opposite way when he got down on the House floor. They then spent 6.5 hours and redid a bill knowing the Senate was not going to come in on special session that's got more loopholes in it than Swiss cheese does. And if I'm not mistaken, it's still sitting in a committee in the Senate.
Yeah, I've had to do a better study on that mandate. I sure ain't for that.
No, sir. I'm sorry, but I'm going to use something that a lot of people like to say. My body, my choice, and I don't want to put anything like that in my body, so I'm not going to. I refuse to.
I've had 2 members of my family like to die from taking the shot, and one good friend that died from it. He took the second shot and he died the next day.
I am so very sorry. Everything with this shot is not, everything that I have read, all the research that I have done, I don't like it. I don't like it. Is there anything else? I'm an open book.
She's still got time. Anybody wants to ask her any questions?
I have tough skin, so nothing, and you gotta remember I'm Army, so I actually have to put reservations on myself so Army mouth doesn't come out. So y'all can't hurt my feelings, and there's not anything I won't answer. All right. Listen, I thank you guys very much for allowing me to be here tonight. I appreciate it more than you know. Dinner was absolutely fantastic. And I do have cards, and it has my personal telephone number on it, and you are more than welcome, like I said, to call me 24/7. I'm an Army mama. It's always on. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. All right. So next we have Cal Forrest. We'll ask him to come up, and again, he'll have 10 minutes to talk, and then after he's done, we'll open it up for questions. He'll have 10 minutes for questions. Mr. Forrest?
All right.
Well, thank y'all for having me again. I've come out here, I think about once a year when y'all ask me out, and I appreciate it. I will say I'm a bit blindsided, tonight. I didn't want to get into a debate with anybody. I thought I was just coming from an annual visit or so, but that's fine. Since Ms. Hall touched on what she called a SCAT card, I believe they call it a SCAPE card, South Carolina Agricultural Tax Exemption Card. And I learned about that this week, and the reason she couldn't find it in legislation because, as they say around here, something went clean in the milk on the Senate side, and they've got the Department of Agriculture to change some regulations somehow or another. Now, we've got a bill drawn up on the House side. We're having a committee next week, and I'm going to offer an amendment in the committee. And I've talked to other committee members to, instead of buying that card, to make the card for free if you want to have that card, but to do is like we've always done. You can fill out the form, and I can't remember the number of the tax form, but you can fill that out at your local vendor, wherever you go to, and you'll still be tax exempt. So we're not going to let that happen, where you can pay $24 just for another fee. I reckon I'm a Chinese communist. Send me a check. I apologize for that. What are the other points you made? Telephone. My phone's on 24/7. That's nothing new to me. I'm always here for you. But what I was going to talk to you about tonight was elections. I think everybody's got the election integrity, and you have to forgive me, guys, because I know I've been told y'all a lot of what I was thinking about saying. But everybody knows that there was something pretty fraudulent going on, or something wasn't quite right with the 2020 elections, and we feel like we got cheated. Is everybody in here familiar with the Maricopa, Arizona, the county audit? Y'all heard a lot about that? Not really, some. And so I think it took about 10 months. They spent about $6 million. And guess what? If you ask anybody that took place in the audit, which is finding good, they're still not happy because it didn't change any results. And it ends up, if you audit all these election machines from all around the country, you might find very slight differentiations between a hand count and what that machine came up with. It could be one way or another, but it's not going to be very much. The big fix comes in when groups like funded by the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Stacey Abrams from Georgia, they come over here. They've got all kind of grassroots campaigns, get people registered to vote. They're heavy in Charleston right now, heavy in Greenville right now. They go in there and they'll go into these churches and they'll register people to vote that have never voted and probably have no intention of ever voting. But when it comes time for election, they come back to their churches and their places of work and they strong-arm them into voting for their candidate. We've got some legislation coming up I just signed on to last week, or it's filed last week, I'm sorry. Let me find it here. Page. Well, let me go through them. One of them is a general voting rights bill, 3444 election. I should say voting rights, election reform bill, and it's kind of to get all 46 counties in the state of South Carolina on the uniform. You've got some people. You got good poll workers. You got them where they're watching, taking good care of who's voting. No drop boxes, which we fought for last session. You can't have drop boxes all over the place. We've got absentee voting. We're going to do a 14-day early in-person voting, but we're going to limit the reasons to vote absentee to very few. There was pretty much no fault absentee voting this last time, and a lot of fraudulent things happened. Update the voter rolls in the state of South Carolina because, every state needs to do it. In fact, Chairman Hickson, he got married, I think, 6 years ago. And his mother died, I think, about 6 or 7 years ago. And this last election, not only did his mother, did she still get, well, she's a South Carolina resident, she didn't get a ballot in the mail. But she's still on the voter rolls. They're still getting information to her. His wife was from right across the river in Georgia. They sent her a ballot, even though she changed her address on her license. She lives in South Carolina, but Georgia still had her on the voters roll now. If she wanted to be unscrupulous, she could have filled that thing out and voted however she wanted to for whatever county that was. Another thing about the voter registration, as y'all all know, you can go to the DMV and check a box to register to vote in the state of South Carolina. Now, you don't have to be a citizen to get a driver's license. You can be over here on a green card, but you don't have the right to vote. And a lot of people are using that loophole And they're getting, and they're supposed to have a little notation or a blue line on that license plate. A lot of people don't even know what it means. A lot of people, so that's what one of these bills does, is scrubbing the, voter rolls. The mail-in ballots, of course, we're gonna require voter ID for all absentee ballot applications. And the Senate's got a bill for electronic voting, not electronic voting, prohibiting any network connectivity that may be associated with the machine. But anyway, we've got a lot of work to do, to get back to an even keel, or not to an even keel, just to start going back up the hill to get where we need to be as a state of the country as far as voting. And I think that now is the time to do it before it goes too far. I just got my fingers crossed that we can hold it together till the midterm elections, and we can take back one of both chambers in Washington, and hold on for another 2 years for another presidential election. But as far as everything else goes, I was gonna, my mindset up here before I came was kind of just ask all y'all out here, what would y'all like to see me do in Saluda County? And well, let me touch on one more thing. I did vote on constitutional carry, and I did vote on carry with a permit.
But not when it came back.
Ma'am?
Never mind, go ahead.
I voted on both of them. The Senate passed one. They did not. The constitutional carry is still sitting there. But Cal Forrest has a yes vote on both of those. Now, that being said, since we passed that bill, I think I've seen one person in Saluda County, or anywhere for that matter, actually have a handgun on their side. So I don't think a lot of people really care. I think they like to ride, which by me, that's fine. I want to have all the Second Amendment rights I can. But and I don't want the government to infringe on any of our rights. But anyway, that being said, is there anything that y'all want to hear from me to do for Saluda County, or what could I do better? I will take that to say it's not pretty happy. Yeah? Any questions? Huh?
What y'all done on the mandate taking a shot? We
passed, the Senate bill is over there, we amended that, sent it back, of course, they didn't pass it. We voted for no mandates. A lot of people say we wasted their time, because we should have been on that instead of redistricting, as Ms. Hall just told y'all. But right now, that's a pretty moot subject. The Supreme Court has struck down those mandates, but they ruled that the mandates were okay for CMS people that got Medicaid, Medicare money. The Supreme Court ruled on that. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. I mean, we could vote on it if we wanted to, but it wouldn't make a hill of beans difference, because we get, that's just the law of the land right now. We can't do anything about it. Now, hopefully that'll change at some point. But I'm going to touch on that redistricting thing. There's been a lot been made about, we went over there to the House and we didn't take up the bill right away. We set for special order the redistricting process. Now, the circuit court that we are all in is, I can't remember the number, but anyway, South Carolina falls into Virginia as far as their federal circuit court, which is a very, very liberal court. If we had not have passed our redistricting, redraw House lines and Senate lines by the appropriate time, we would have had 3 liberal judges come in appointed by Obama. And instead of us drawing the lines for ourselves in South Carolina, we would have had Obama appointed judges coming there and draw the lines for us. Now, you say, what difference does that make? Well, they're going to draw the lines very skewed, and you're going to be living with that here in Saluda County for the next 10 years. So we got to look at the big picture, folks. You definitely don't want outsiders coming into our state, into our county, drawing our lines and splitting us up and doing what they got to, whatever they see fit. We want to do what's best for us. But anyway, go ahead. Yes, sir.
I have a question and a follow-up also.
Sure.
Voters registration. The UID that the driver's license has. In order to get that, if your new driver's license that has a seal on it, you have to carry a copy of your birth certificate up there in order to get that.
Okay.
So that is proof that you are an American citizen.
Okay.
So I don't know how that needs to be revamped, but I mean, you have to prove you're an American citizen to get a driver's license. So to get the real ID.
Well, that's 2 separate things. You can get a real ID.
Correct.
But to get a driver's license, you don't have to have a real ID, you can just have a driver's license.
Yeah, but I have been in the DMV here in Saluda and had some Hispanics in front of me. And they checked the box on there that said they wanted voter registration. And I watched two of the different ladies up there tell me they couldn't because they weren't American citizens.
And that's very good, but that is not uniform across every DMV here in the state of South Carolina. And you will know that you can't manage everybody, and a lot of them slip through the cracks. And that's just one thing that we'd like to close the loophole on, so we can't slip through the cracks anymore. And I applaud them for doing that.
Also, if anybody would like to see his voting record on the Second Amendment, we have it up here.
There you go. What you think, Mr. Douglas? Any questions, or I'm done? All right. Thank y'all for having me. I enjoyed it as always.
Thank you both. Just to let y'all know,
Cause these are my people, and this is my land. This is my land. This is what we pray for, and this is God's plan. This is God's plan.